And we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah. I'm Eric, if you don't remember or know me or whatever. I teach classes at Cincy Yoga with my wife, Lori. She just left. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll come in our seated pose. Just get nice and comfortable. I sometimes like to use the block to sit on if you want to use that, or a pillow, or whatever. If you want to just stay on the ground. And we're just going to relax and find our way to ground ourselves to the earth. And we'll just rest our hands on our knees. And you can turn your palms up or down, whichever feels more comfortable. And you want to have a nice straight spine and chin parallel to the earth. You're just going to find yourself in a relaxed position, relaxing the shoulders down, closing the eyes. And as you start to become more relaxed, you'll notice your breath. Don't force your breath, just notice it. Just notice your body is breathing, your lungs are inhaling and exhaling. Bringing yourself right here to the present. Not worrying about the past or the future, just the here and now. While we're here, we'll just go ahead and take our left hand, just place it on our belly, and we're just going to do a little bit of belly breathing. So when we do belly breathing, we're going to focus that breath, just breathing in through the nose and filling in the belly, not the lungs. That's why our hands on our belly, just feeling the belly expand out on your inhale and go back in on your exhale. It takes a little bit of concentration. And nobody can see your belly, so you're fine. Just go ahead and breathe in through your nose, filling that belly up, and exhaling it out, bringing that belly back in. And it may seem a little bit difficult because we as adults like to breathe through our lungs, so we inhale through our chest. That's what our normal mode of operation is. So it takes a little bit of concentration just to fill up that belly, making it nice and big, and bringing it back. This is good to just ease some tension, just to relax. You'll find yourself getting more and more relaxed as you do this. We'll take 2 more breaths into our belly. We'll go ahead and take that hand off the belly, place it back on our knee. And you can continue to belly breathe if you want to, because we're just going to drop our chin to the chest and just get a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Still breathing in and out of the nose. Nice slow breaths. Just feeling that stretch in the neck. If you're not feeling that stretch in the neck, you can take one of your hands and just place it on the top of your head, just resting it there. Don't push down, just rest it. Just giving a little help to gravity as you stretch the back of the neck. If you don't want to do that, then don't. Just release the hand back to the knee. And we're going to go ahead and roll our shoulders up to our ears, bringing our head up with it. And then just roll those shoulders back and around, down and forward, and back up to the ears. And just get a nice, slow, even roll. And we'll do a little bit of breathing with it. So we'll exhale our shoulders down. We'll inhale those shoulders up to the ears. Just nice, smooth motions. Really exaggerating those motions. And then we'll go ahead and we'll come back up to our ears. I'm going to stop there, and then we're going to rotate the opposite way, bringing the shoulders forward, down, and back. And if you were doing it the other way, just do it the opposite way, back, down, and forward. There's no wrong way. It's okay. We're just loosening up those shoulders, those muscles deep inside. You still keep that breath work. Inhale up, exhale down. And then one more time around, we'll bring the shoulders right back to a neutral position, nice and relaxed. We're going to do a little bit more stretch with the next one. Look over our left shoulder, just looking over it, just turning our head. That's all we're doing, is just looking over that left shoulder. Feeling the stretch in the back, a little bit of a twist in the neck. And we'll go ahead and bring our head back forward and to the opposite side, over to the right. Just gazing over that shoulder, just looking. Finding a spot on the wall, just to gaze at, not drishti. And we'll come back into our neutral position a little bit more with the neck stretch. We're going to lean our ear over, or left ear over to our left shoulder, getting a stretch in the side neck on the right. And if you're not feeling anything here, take that left hand, just place it on top of your head, just with your middle finger grazing the ear, and just relaxing it there. Don't pull it down, just rest it there. And if the hand's too much, move the hand. Not, keep it there. Now we're going to take the right hand out to the side, to the right. Just place it down on the mat, fingertips. And you're going to elongate that neck a little bit more. And now, throughout your practice, wherever you feel a stretch, just focus that breath right to that spot where you're feeling a stretch. Hopefully it's in that right side of the neck. And we'll go ahead and release our hands, bring them back to our knee, bring our head back to the neutral, and switching over to the other side, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. And if this is enough for you, just stay right here. But if you want a little bit extra, take that right hand up, place it on top of the head. Middle finger just raises a little bit to the top of the ear. And relax it out. And every once in a while, if you want to take a nice deep breath through the nose and release it through the mouth, that's okay. We definitely want to do those in some forward folds. If you want a little bit of that extra stretch, take that left hand arm, That arm out, place it down on the mat right next to your fingertips. Extending the neck a little bit further. At this point, if you want, you can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever is best for you. Obviously, it's good to keep the eyes open if you want to see what I'm doing, but I hope I'm describing very well. And we'll go ahead and release his hands back to the knee. I'm going to take this block out from under me. And I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to kick it out in front of me to the side, leaving the right leg in. And we're going to go ahead and turn our torso towards that outstretched leg. And we're just going to get a nice stretch, reaching down, walking the hands down the leg, out as far as you can, whether it's the shin, the ankle, the toes, foot. And then just exhale that head down to the knee, as close as you can get it to the knee. Get a nice hamstring stretch. Maybe a little bit of stretch in the back if you have a tight back. And one more option, if you're super flexible, you can always place a block on the end of that foot and just reach out as far as you can all the way to the end of the block. That's not me, I'm the ankle, but if you are, do it. So we were trying to get that stretch in the hamstring. We'll take a deep breath in and we'll exhale it out through our mouth, trying to get a little bit closer to the knee. And then we'll go ahead and walk those hands up the leg, bringing it back into the center. And we're going to turn our torso back towards the front of the mat. And then we're just going to take our hands up to the air and then exhale down in front of us, reaching as far as we can, turning that stretch to the inner part, maybe in the back a little bit, reaching out as far as you can, and exhaling out. You're going to head down to the ground. Move that stretch more to the inner part of the hamstring and behind the knee. And we'll go ahead and take another deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth, just getting a little bit closer to the earth with our head. And we'll go ahead and walk those fingers back towards the torso. And we're going to do just one more stretch while we're here. We're going to turn our torso towards that bent knee, and we're just going to forward fold over the knee, reaching our arms out in front of us. Or you can just kind of hug that knee and bring it in. Just getting a little bit extra stretch. Just bringing your face down to that knee as close as you can. And then we'll take a deep breath in and exhale it out, getting a little bit further into the stretch. And it just moves it to a different part of that leg. And we'll go ahead and walk on up, rolling the shoulders and bringing us back into the center forward of the mat. We're going to go ahead and switch legs, taking the right leg out and the left leg in. However you want to get there is fine by me. And we'll go ahead and turn that torso towards the outstretched leg, walking our fingers down the leg, reaching as far as we can to the toes, the ankle, or the shin, or the knee. And then we'll take a deep breath and exhale our head down to the knee. And you may find one side might be a little bit loose or tighter than the other. That's okay. We're working on both sides. And then we'll take a deep breath in through our nose and just exhale out through our mouth, getting a little bit deeper into the pose, bringing that head closer to the knee. And we'll go ahead and walk those hands back, rolling the shoulders up, turning our torso towards the center. Hands come to the side, reaching up towards the sky, and exhaling forward fold with the hands, bringing the head as close to the mat as you can. And taking another deep breath in through the nose, and exhaling out the mouth. And we'll take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth one more time just to get a little bit closer to the ground. And walk those fingers back, rolling the shoulders, turning our torso to the bent knee and folding towards that bent knee. You can bring the hands out in front or just hug that knee. I'm hugging the knee. And just bring the nose right as close to the knee as possible. And exhale it out. And taking another deep breath in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. And walking it on up. We'll go ahead and bring those feet back together in Sukhasana. And we're going to just do a little bit of breath work right over here. We did a little stretching first, but now we're going to do a little breath work, bringing our hands down to the side. We're just going to breathe the hands up on an inhale, breathing in and up. And exhaling back down. So when the hands come up, the head comes up. When the hands come down, the head goes down. And go at your own pace. We all have different lung capacities, so just go ahead and breathe in and up. And out and down. And if you increase your pace, you're going to find that you're going to increase some heat in the core, in the lungs. And you really want to extend that spine up towards the sky and reaching up, warming up those back muscles too. Keep going, breathing in and up, and out and down. And do this several more times. And exhale down. Inhale up. One more exhale down. One more up. And then we're going to hang out in the up. So we'll wait here until everybody gets in the up. Our hands are reaching up as far as we can towards the ceiling. And we're gazing up towards those hands. Really elongating the back. Really trying to get a stretch all the way from the fingertips down the back into the sit bones. Now we're going to take our left hand, grabbing the right wrist, and we're just going to pull that right wrist over to the left side. If you want, you can keep your gaze neutral, gazing forward, or if you want a little bit more, you can gaze up under that armpit towards the ceiling. If you don't like that, don't do it. Bring it back to the neutral. And we'll go ahead and come on back up towards the top, reaching up towards the ceiling again with both hands, and we'll switch hands, bringing the right hand to the left wrist, bring it over to the right side. Again, you can keep your gaze neutral, gazing forward or looking up towards the ceiling. It moves the stretch to a different spot. If you like that, do it. If not, just keep it neutral. You really want to feel it in the side, and you don't want to bring those hip bones off the ground. You want to keep those nice and engaged in the earth. You're just stretching your side. And then we'll come back up to the top, still reaching as far as we can. Maybe our arms are getting a little heavy here. That's okay. And then we're going to exhale, forward fold, bringing our hands up, out in front of us, getting a little bit different stretch in this forward fold into the hips. Reaching as far as we can, bringing our head down as close as we can to the ground. And taking that breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And while we're down here, we'll go ahead and work the other hips muscles. We'll bring the hands over, just walk them, spider walk them across the ground over to the left side, and bringing our nose down to our knee. Or as close as you can get. And you should feel this in your hip or possibly in your back if you have a tight back. That might hold you up a little. And then we'll go ahead and we'll walk those fingers back to the center. Hold it here for one full breath cycle. And walk them over to the right side. And bring that head down as close as we can to the knee. Really reaching the arms out as far as you can. And that deep breath in and side out. And walk back to the center again. And then walk it back into the torso, rolling the shoulders up, bringing those hands to the knees. And we're going to switch our legs, whichever one goes on the bottom, now goes on the top. We got to get that opposite hip stretched. So we're going to bring our hands down to the side, breathing our hands up towards the sky, really reaching up towards the ceiling like you can touch it. It's almost there. And exhaling forward, fold. Bring those hands out as far as you can, head as close to the mat as possible on the exhale. And we'll go ahead and breathe in through the nose and sigh out a big breath. And we'll go ahead and walk those fingers back. And we're going to go ahead and get however you want to get there, but we want to go ahead and roll on over into our tabletop, coming out of our seated pose for a bit. When we come to our tabletop, make those fingers nice and wide, wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees about hip width apart, and we'll hold this tabletop just for a few moments, just feeling the strength in our arms and our legs as it holds us up. You're going to make those feet flat to the ground and tuck in the tummy, engaging the core, gazing down at the mat. And take some few breaths here, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. More enjoying breath. Generating a little warmth here. And we're going to do a little bit of cat-cow from the tabletop position. You don't know, cow is where you drop your torso, head comes up. And that's an inhale breath. And cat is the opposite. Torso comes up like a scaredy cat. Head comes down on an exhale breath. And again, this is a little bit of breath work. So you're breathing in, head up, and out and down. Really fill the lungs completely up on your inhale and hold it. And then exhale it out all the way. Really engaging those shoulders, pushing up on the inhale. Now, with that torso up, exhale. Now we did it nice and slow for a few times. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit, speeding that breath. Maybe getting a little bit of heat going. Inhale, head up, exhale down. Really flexing the back, really getting the back nice and loose. Keep going, keep that breath work going. We're still doing the cat-cow. We're going to do 2 more cycles. 1. And 2. We'll come back into our neutral position. And we're going to take our arms out towards the top of the mat or off the mat as far as you can. We'll do a little bit of a puppy pose. Keeping the backside up, we just bring our hand down to the mat, waist, resting our forehead towards the mat. Extending the shoulders, keeping that backside still up. Feeling the breath here. And we'll go ahead and slowly walk those hands back into our tabletop. And then we're going to go ahead and sit back into a child's pose, bringing the backside down in between the legs. And bringing the head back down to the mat. And you can outstretch the arms if you like we did in puppy pose, or you can bring them back behind you, around where your feet are. This is our resting pose. Utilize this at any time in the class. You feel like you need to take a break, if you're still engaging those muscles. And then we'll go ahead and inhale back up, bringing ourselves back into our tabletop. We're going to place the left hand right into the middle of the mat, and we're going to open up that right hand up towards the ceiling, just like we're opening the book. Bringing that arm back as far as you can, gazing up towards the ceiling, towards the thumb. If that's no good, bring that head back into a neutral position. Making sure that wrist is directly underneath the shoulder. And we're going to swing that arm that's up underneath the arm that's down, and we're going to bring the shoulder down to the ground, resting it down on the mat, bringing our temple down, gazing over the arm that's outstretched. We'll get a nice stretch on that shoulder. And we'll go ahead and push on back up, bringing that arm back around, placing it down on the mat, back into a tabletop position. I'm going to switch sides for everybody. This time we're going to bring that right hand in the middle, open up that left arm up like a book. And getting that nice twist. Gazing up at the thumb. Again, if that's too much for you, just neutralize your neck where it's comfortable. And we'll go ahead and exhale that arm through the hand that's down on the ground. Bring that shoulder down to the mat and the temple down, gazing out that outstretched arm. Back to where it was. And we'll go ahead and slowly come out of that. Bringing our hand back into tabletop position. If you need to get a little relief on those wrists, you can turn them the opposite way on the mat, push them down. Whatever is fine. So we're going to do a little spinal balance here. So we're going to take that right arm out in front of us, reaching out as far as we can. I'm going to back up a little. Reaching out as far as we can. Everything else is still in the same spot. And we're just gazing out towards that hand, trying to get that drink that's too far away because we're thirsty from doing this yoga. Really outstretching, really stretching, feeling the energy flow from the fingers down the spine. And then we'll exhale that hand back down to the mat, and we'll switch sides, bringing the left hand out as far as we can. Breathing through the nose. Generating more heat, feeling the energy flow. And then we'll bring that hand back down, replace it. And we're going to take the right leg straight back, pointing the toes down, extending the heel, keeping everything parallel to the earth. You don't want to make it too high or too low, just right in the middle, right where it's parallel. And exhale that knee back down to the ground and switch legs. Left leg comes back, toes point down, heel extends out. And exhale back down. So we're going to extend out the right hand one more time. But this time we're going to put that opposite leg up. We're going to bring that left leg up and engage that as well. Pointing those toes down, keeping everything parallel. Gazing out. And one more breath, bringing it back down to the earth, both hand and foot. And switching side, left arm goes out, and right leg kicks back. And exhale back down. One more time, both sides. Let's do the leg and the arm at the same time. Right arm, left leg. Don't forget to point those toes down and engage that heel. Gaze out over the hand. Keep everything nice and parallel, tucking that tummy. And exhale down, switching sides. Left arm, right leg. And we'll exhale down, back into our tabletop, pushing back into a child's pose one more time. And then we'll go ahead and come back into our tabletop position one more time. And hold it here for a couple seconds. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a couple down dogs. Just hold them for a few breaths and then come back down to our tabletop. So what you need to do is flip those toes and just lift up from the hips up towards the sky and back into down dog. Now my knees are a little bent. That's because I have really tight hamstrings, and that's okay. You can keep yours straight. You want to get those heels down to the earth, but you want to really engage the shoulders. And right here, you want to pedal them out just a little. We're just going to hold it here for a few breaths. This is our first down dog, so maybe of the whole day, the whole week. One more breath in, and we'll come back down to our tabletop. Bringing those feet flat again. I think we'll do this 3 times. So we'll go ahead and flip those toes one more time and push on up into a down dog. This time, no bounce, just hold our true down dog. Breathe with it. Feel the breath flow. And exhale those knees back down to the ground, back into our tabletop. Flip those feet. Holding it here. If you need to relieve those wrists, flip that hand over to the back side of the hand. Roll them out again. Like I said, we're doing 3, so we got 1 more to do. So we'll flip those toes again and push on up. Back into down dog. And go ahead and drop on down into our tabletop. And relieve those wrists 1 more time. And we'll go ahead and swing those legs around, coming back into our seated pose. And 1 more shoulder stretch that I need to do, and then we'll come and do some more seated poses. So we're going to take our left hand and just place it back as far as you can, ideally in between the shoulder blades, but if it's down a little bit, what we're trying to do is get a stretch in the shoulder here. And then once you get it there, we're just going to relax down to the mat and just lay back down on that hand. If it's too much where you have it, move it down the spine a little bit. You can roll over to the one side, just move it down. But you want to make sure you're feeling in that shoulder. And this other hand can do whatever you want. I'm going to hold this here for about 5 breaths. You might find this in a yin class where they'll hold it for a minute or so or two. We're just going to get a few breaths in, not a whole minute. And to come out of this pose, you're just going to roll to the opposite side of the arm that's on the ground and just come on out. And we'll come back to our seated. We'll switch hands. Bringing it back in between the shoulder blades. You can get it there. If not, bring it to where you're comfortable and then just go ahead and lay back down on that hand again. I learned this from Kevin a couple weeks ago, and I really liked it in the shoulders, so I've been implementing it into my class. Again, we'll hold this for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, you can kind of lift that leg up or whatever, roll over off of that hand, and we'll come back up into our seated position. I'm going to turn a little bit. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana. If you know what Baddha Konasana is, go ahead. It's butterfly. And you want to bring your feet out in front of you and have them meet together, the bottom of the feet. But you want to make sure that the pinky toes are touching more than the big toes. I'm getting closer to that. There is, I got a little gap, so keep the gap in the big toes, but not the pinky toes. So you want to sit nice and straight, just like we did in Sukhasana in our easy pose, our sitting at the beginning. And just feel the stretch. So we're going to stretch the inside part of our legs. And at first, we're going to keep our spine going nice and straight when we hinge forward. We're just hinging right at the hips. So just go ahead and hinge at the hips, bringing the head down to those feet that are out there. Nice and straight back. This is another one I like to sit on a block to do, but I'm not going to do that right now. If you want to sit on a block or a pillow, that's great. And then on our next inhale, we're going to exhale and go ahead and forward, rounding the back, forward fold, bringing the head down to the feet as close as you can, bringing the nose right into the feet. If that's as far as you can go, then go as far as you can. I'll turn to the side because you can see that I'm not getting that full stretch. I'm not getting all the way down there. But I'm still feeling it in the inside and the inner thigh, and that's good. So I have a little bit of back tightness that holds me up. Well, I have all kinds of tightness, but this is the back's holding me up now. And again, we'll take a deep breath in through the nose, and then we'll exhale through the mouth. And just feel the breath here as you open up the inner thigh. And then we'll go ahead and roll on up, rolling the shoulders up, back into our Baddha Konasana. Seated pose. And we're just going to go ahead and head on back down to our mat. We're reclining all the way. You want to, however you want to get there, but we're going to come back, bringing our feet back into our butterfly, Baddha Konasana, back into a reclined butterfly. So this is a little bit more easy on my back. So I can feel it more in the inner thighs and letting the gravity do its work for me. I'm still getting that stretch in your thighs and still keeping those pinky toes together and the big toes not together. And our hands can rest on our belly, at our side. We can have our eyes open or closed, whatever we want. And we'll hold this for a couple more breaths. I'm going to centerize myself on the mat a little bit. And then we'll go ahead, bring those knees, pointing them up towards the ceiling, bring the feet flat on the ground. And we're just going to wrap our hands around, bring our knees into our torso, wrap our hands around the knees or behind the thighs, and just bring them in and just pull in as far as we can to where we're feeling a stretch. And then we'll relax a little bit and roll back and forth, getting a little bit of spinal stimulation with the ground. You can roll in a circle or back and forth, just whatever feels good to you, just whatever feels good. And then we're going to go ahead and bring those feet down, back to the floor, pointing the knees up towards the ceiling, bringing that left leg in, pulling it in just like we did, just the left leg. And then we're going to turn that knee out to the side, placing the ankle on the right leg. And we're going to do a reverse pigeon. So you want to thread the left hand through the legs, and the other one on the outside. And you can put it on the outside of the knee or in the inner part of the thigh, whichever you feel. And just go ahead and pull that into the torso. Reverse pigeon. And you're going to feel this in your left hip. And we're going to hold this for a few breaths, probably about 5 to 7. And as that hip opens up, you'll be able to bring that knee a little bit closer into the torso. We may not hold enough to open up. Maybe you want to try this at the end of class. It's more of a yin pose, one you would like to hold a lot longer. Sometimes I like to do this in the morning when I'm waking up, so it's cool. So we'll go ahead and exhale that foot down to the ground, letting go of the knee with the hands, and taking the ankle off the knee, and placing it down beside the opposite foot. Take one full breath, and we'll go ahead and bring that right knee into the torso, pulling it in, and turning it off to the side, placing the ankle on the left knee, threading the needle, bringing the hand between the legs, and pulling on in to our reverse pigeon. And as you guys are home, if you're not getting too much, you can also place that foot on the wall. You can get close to the wall or whatever, or cabinet or whatever. Don't let anything fall on you. And just let the wall push you in a little bit. You should, like I said, you should feel that in that turn leg, the hip, the turn leg. And we'll go ahead and release those hands from the knee, bringing that foot back down to the ground, taking that ankle off of the knee, bringing those feet back together. The knees pointed up towards the ceiling. We're just going to go ahead and pull those knees into the torso one more time. And we'll roll back and forth, a little spinal. Again. And then we'll go ahead and bring those feet back down to the ground. And we're going to go ahead and roll the knees over to the left side.
Bringing the hip off the ground, arms outstretched in a T. For a little spinal twist. Gazing up towards the ceiling. Shoulders both engaged to the earth. If the leg on top wants to come up, you can bring that left hand down and hold it down if you like. Get a little bit extra stretch, a little twist in the back. If you want to gaze out over that arm that's outstretched to the side, you can go ahead and look over that right arm. But if that's too much, go ahead and neutralize your gaze and gaze up towards the ceiling. And we'll go ahead, if your hand's on that knee, go ahead and release the knee, bring that arms back into a T, and we'll go ahead and roll those knees pointing up towards the ceiling, facing the feet flat on the ground. And we're going to go ahead and grab those knees, pull them into the torso and around, roll them back again. And exhale those feet down to the mat, knees pointed towards the ceiling. And we're going to roll to the opposite side, to the right side, pointing the knees to the right. Bringing that hip up off the ground, keeping the shoulders engaged to the ground. And again, making those arms into a T. And if you like, you can bring that right arm down to the knee and just hold that knee down. It might help a little bit of a spinal twist. Or if you want a little extra, gaze out at the outstretched arm in the opposite direction your knees are going. If that's too much, neutralize your gaze. And go ahead, if your hand's on that knee, go ahead and release the hand from the knee. Bring the arms back into a T and roll the knees back up towards the ceiling. And wrap your hands around those knees, rounding the back. A little bit of a stretch and a roll. And then bring those knees down to the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and bring those legs down the mat. We're not going to Savasana quite yet. We're going to bring the hands up over the head and really outstretch, reaching both sides of the room, pointing the toes, stretching the back, elongating everything. I'm going to do a little bit of a banana pose. So we're going to bring those legs, walk them a little bit to the left, and then bring the arms a little bit to the left. So we're kind of maybe looking like a crescent moon or a banana. You got a few breaths here. And we'll go ahead and walk those hands and those feet back into the neutral position. And really stretching it again, pointing the toes, reaching the hands really nice and far, stretching that back. Now we'll banana in the opposite direction, walk those feet to the right. And then the arms to the right and the hands. We're into a crescent moon or banana. And we'll go ahead and release on back into the center, walking the hands back and the feet. One more time with a really long stretch, reaching both sides of the room, pointing toes. You can get it this time. Taking 2 full breaths. And then on that last exhale, just relax the feet. Bring the hands down to the side. And we'll go ahead and go right into our Savasana. Closing your eyes. Tucking the shoulders in. Relaxing the hands. Palms up towards the sky. Relaxing the feet to the side. Relaxing the toes. Relaxing the feet. Slowing the breath down, relaxing the ankles. Relaxing the calves. Relaxing the knees. The thigh. Relaxing your hips. Your glutes. Go ahead and relax the belly, your chest. Relax your fingers, your wrists. Relax your elbow. Relax your shoulders. Relax your tongue. Relax your brain. Relax your eyes. We're going to go ahead and bring that right arm hand back up to the belly. I'm going to go back to the belly breathing. Breathing in through the nose and filling the belly up. And exhaling it out. Nice and slow. Feeling each breath with your hand as it fills your belly up. And lets all that air out. One more time with the belly breath. Go ahead and bring that hand down to the side. We'll go ahead and roll over to one side like we're waking up in the morning. And then rolling on up into our seated position. Our Sukhasana, keeping those eyes closed, resting those hands back on the knee. If you like, you can still belly breathe here if you want. And bring your hands to heart center. Thank you all for coming out tonight to my class. Thank you for me, Cincy Yoga. We really appreciate it. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.